Have you ever felt like you were in the right place at the right time, but for the wrong reason? Like the world was on your shoulders and you were the only one who could do something about it? Today, we're diving into an ancient story that feels incredibly relevant right now. It is the story of a young woman who faced an impossible choice: risk her life or watch her people perish. This is the story of Queen Esther. Imagine a sprawling, powerful kingdom, ancient Persia. The ruler, King Ahasuerus, throws a massive festival and, in a whirlwind of events, needs a new queen. A nationwide search begins, and among the many young women brought to the palace is a beautiful, kind and humble Jewish orphan named Hadassah. She's being raised by her older cousin, Mordecai. Following his advice, she keeps her Jewish identity a secret and goes by the name Esther. Her grace and charm win everyone over, especially the king. Before she knows it, Esther, the quiet orphan, is crowned Queen of Persia. It sounds like a fairy tale, right? But this is where the real story begins. Life in the palace is lavish, but danger is brewing just outside its walls. A man named Haman, a high-ranking and power-hungry official, rises in the king's court. He's arrogant and demands that everyone bow down to him. But Mordecai, Esther's cousin, refuses. As a faithful Jew, he bows only to God. This simple act of defiance sends Haman into a rage. His pride is wounded, and his anger isn't just directed at Mordecai. It expands to consume all of Mordecai's people. Haman hatches a despicable, evil plan. He goes to the king, lies about the Jewish people being a threat to the kingdom, and convinces the king to issue a decree to annihilate every Jewish man, woman, and child in the empire on a specific day. When news of the decree spreads, a wave of terror and mourning sweeps through the Jewish communities. Mordecai, heartbroken, sends a message to Queen Esther, pleading with her to go to the king and beg for her people's lives. But this is a terrifying request. In the Persian court, no one, not even the queen, could approach the king without being summoned. The penalty for breaking this rule was death, unless the king chose to extend his golden scepter. Esther is paralyzed by fear. She sends a message back to Mordecai, reminding him of this deadly law. She's the queen, but she's also a potential victim of the king's whim. This is the turning point of the entire story. Mordecai's response to Esther echoes through the centuries. He tells her, "Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's family will perish." And then he asks the question that changes everything. "And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" Those words hit Esther like a lightning bolt. For such a time as this. Suddenly, her position, her influence, her entire life story clicks into place. It wasn't just a random fairy tale. It was a divine appointment. She realizes her fear is real, but her purpose is greater. Choosing courage over comfort, she sends a message back to Mordecai. She tells him to gather all the Jews in the city to pray and fast for her for 3 days. She and her maids will do the same. And then she declares, "I will go to the king, even though it is against the law, and if I perish, I perish." After 3 days of prayer and preparation, Esther puts on her royal robes and stands in the inner court of the king's palace, waiting. It must have been the longest few moments of her life. The king sees her. Will he be angry? Will this be the end? But God softens his heart. The king holds out his golden scepter, a sign of favor. He asks her, "What is it, Queen Esther? What is your request? Even up to half the kingdom, it will be given to you." Instead of blurting everything out at once, Esther wisely invites the king and Haman to a banquet, and then to a second banquet the next day. She is patient, strategic, and guided. At that second banquet, the king again asks what she desires. This time, with Haman sitting right there, she reveals her identity and Haman's wicked plot. She says, "If I have found favor with you, your majesty, and if it pleases you, grant me my life, this is my petition, and spare my people, this is my request, for I and my people have been sold to be destroyed." The king is shocked and enraged when he finds out Haman is the mastermind behind this evil plan. The tables turn dramatically. Haman is brought to justice, and the king gives Esther the authority to write a new decree. This new law allows the Jewish people to defend themselves against their enemies on the appointed day. What was meant to be a day of destruction becomes a day of victory and deliverance. The fear is transformed into joy, and the entire course of history is changed because one person chose faith over fear. So what can we learn from Esther? First, God often places us in specific positions of influence for such a time as this. Your job, your school, your family, your community might be your palace, the very place you're meant to make a difference. Second, faith gives us courage in what seem like impossible situations. Esther was terrified, but her trust in God was stronger than her fear of man. Finally, prayer, preparation, and bold action go hand in hand. Esther didn't just rush in. She prayed, she fasted, she thought strategically, and then she acted boldly. Her story is a powerful reminder that one person, guided by faith and courage, can stand up against injustice and change the world. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that can help you find purpose in your own story. We'll see you in the next video.